Thank you all, first of all, for coming out here today. Some of you guys have come from a really far away place, and I appreciate that. I don't know who traveled the farthest. We got Enid, we got Eufaula, so like, yeah.
Wait, you came from Baltimore today. Does that count?
Right. So basically, we're trying to have this meetup once every single month. We're going to bring thought leaders like Walter here to come and speak, and we're going to have opportunity to ask them questions. I know personally I want to learn a little bit more about building a sales team. I'm sure Walter has experience doing it, and what better person to learn from than somebody like Walter. Next month we're going to have another guest speaker, and the following month, and so on and so on. So if you would all follow us on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, we'll be announcing the events. We're putting together an email list right now, and we'll be sending out emails about it as well. We do have a sponsor for today, Natural Remedies. Right here, give them a round of applause. So thank you, Natural Remedies. They made this all possible. They're a very community-focused dispensary. So if you guys have a dispensary, if you're looking for somebody that's doing it really well as far as the Facebook groups goes, and this can apply to anybody, not just the dispensary. It can apply to growers, it can apply to anybody else. Get in there, check out what they're doing on their Facebook group, because they're really building a community. They're going out, doing things in the community to help the community. So check them out, show them some love. They help make this happen today. So once again, thank you guys from Natural Remedies. All right, now we're going to jump into Walter, who's going to come up and he's going to talk. Walter Boyd's amazing. He's the sales director of Red Bird BioScience, and they're located out where? Stillwell. It's really far east. I looked it up on a map. It's really far east. So maybe he came the farthest. But here we go. Come on up.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Hey, thanks, Zach. You're awesome, man. We good? Good. I'm Walter Boyd. I lead the sales team at Red Bird BioScience. Been with them since early 2020. Jumped from casino gambling industry into the cannabis industry full time, and worked my way into leadership. I was telling Terry beforehand, when I joined the company back then, we were right at like $200,000 a month in revenue, and then I grew the Oklahoma City business, Southwest Oklahoma business, Southeast Oklahoma business, and then once I moved into leadership, I think our best month on record is June. We did 1.62 million. So I've grown the company. I've seen it from its infancy of trying to scale past 200 pounds a month, and we've done things right. We've purchased the right entities. We've made the right moves to set ourselves up for success long term and to go national. So for whatever reason, I guess it's because I'm good at what I do. They put me in a situation to lead this charge, for the time being, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm an Oklahoma boy, Shawnee, Oklahoma. Graduated 2003. State champion. Went to play college football at the University of Tulsa. Won a bunch of championships there, played for a bunch of great leaders, and that's what I'll talk a little bit about in my sales acumen as a leader, right? I'm here today to talk about sales leadership, how to build a sales team, how to look for the right people, ask the right questions, and really the sauce about how we grow the company, and we talk to our retail partners about the wholesale process and how we get our product in a number of different stores. First things first, when you're talking about hiring salespeople, to me, there's two things that they gotta have, without question: charisma and a work ethic. If you don't have those two things, for me, and that's specific to this industry, y'all. That's what I mean, because it's a grind out here. If you're in any kind of brokership or anything like that, you understand that it's a grind. So, there's other spaces where you can have a lot of charisma and be a successful salesperson. Casino gambling world is one of them. You can be a very handsome or beautiful person and acquire a lot of business in that industry. It's just how it is. In this industry, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's about getting out, knocking on doors, pounding the pavement every day. And that's what I look for. So I moved into leadership about 9 months ago, was tasked with reorganizing the sales team, developing a sales plan, adding or subtracting, or figuring out what was going to happen as our company scaled. we were in a startup mode for such a long time because we were growing it as, selling as fast as we could grow it. And, we really needed to add some enterprise sales type atmosphere to our process, meaning using a CRM tool consistently, tracking leads and how they convert to accounts, what's your closing ratios, different things that you would add to your process as a enterprise level sales organization, not just a cannabis weed company, a sales company, enterprise level sales space. And so once I moved into leadership, they asked me to develop the plan to scale this company from 400 pounds a month to 600 pounds a month to 750 to 1,000 to 1,200, and build that plan all the way out. And at first, to me, just like building any kind of team, it starts with the people, right? So I wanted to go after and build and see my network and find people who were, maybe had some sort of purpose on their sleeve. Right? Somebody who was passionate all the time about what they do, 788, deep in the trenches with the patients, but more importantly, having somebody who had a lot of charisma and a tremendous amount of work ethic. And so I went out, I built the team out to 6. I hired an inside salesperson that sets my appointments for my reps. And then I've got 2 CSRs that handle any issues that come in from the accounts, so we can make sure that everybody's taken care of and no account feels like we're too big for them. That takes a lot of effort and strategy and focus. And then at the end of the day, it's about people, right? Getting the right people in the right seats on the bus. Like that's really it. And I was telling Terry beforehand, that is the hardest piece of this. People get, I'm an Oklahoman. I don't know how many native Okies we've got in the audience, but as an Oklahoman, I care about people. I love my people. I try to help show them and create an understanding of what their value is in our organization all the time. But at the end of the day, sales is a high turnover, position. And you've got to be able to have certain metrics in line that you want to hold your people accountable to. And to me, that's touch points. That'd be another piece of information, right? How many touches a day are you creating via email, via text, via social media, via cold stops? What are you doing and how are you using your tactics along the way? So first thing is finding the right people, charisma and work ethic. The second thing is those tactics, touch points. What am I measuring their effort against? To me, you've got to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 touch points a day to stay afloat in this game. Meaning text message, meaning emails, meaning social touches, meaning cold stops when you're out in the field, and then scheduled appointments. So a little bit about those tactics. I told you I had an inside salesperson. This person needs to be good on the phone. This person needs to be able to call, set appointments, and speak confidently to the dispensary owners when she calls. This person's whole job is to acquire leads for our sales reps, and then follow up on those appointments when the sales reps have them. So, and win back old accounts that we miss. So we give her a list. She's calling. Our sales process is this. And I'm gonna give you all the sauce. So it's about execution at the end of the day, and this is how we've gotten our flour everywhere, all right? So we have an inside sales rep, calls store, sets appointment with the store, sales rep goes to the appointment. Sales rep is in the appointment, pitching the products, doing their discovery, asking the right questions, doing what they need to do. And at that point, when they leave that appointment, they are calling our CSR, telling our CSR what's happening in that appointment, telling them that I spoke to Terry, she wants 3 pounds of this, it'll be here, yes. She wants 3 pounds of this and this many pre-rolls and this many concentrates and all these different things. She needs delivery this day, and I'm gonna set follow-up for then. We send that to the CSR. The CSR then puts that data into our CRM. That way, me as the leader, I can see that activity from my sales rep, and my sales rep never enters anything into a computer. They're just in their appointment, out of the appointment, and on to the next appointment. Again, setting up a process so I can increase their touch points, take away the mundane work that no sales rep likes to do, and allows them to go in with confidence that, my inside sales rep set an appointment with Red Bird, and now, Mr. Store Owner, you're meeting with Red Bird, and this is the process. And when I leave this, Mr. Store Owner, we're going to take care of you in these ways. And that's really, really powerful when you think about it, because in my opinion, there's two things that that companies are really, really good at, but not simultaneously. That's servicing accounts, making sure that anything that goes wrong in those accounts you're able to take care of, you're on top of, you replace, you product swap, whatever that is, and then acquiring accounts, turning leads into accounts. What I see a lot of people come to us for raw material, so what I see is there's companies that scale to a point, and they're acquiring accounts, and then once they've acquired 20, 25 accounts, now it's servicing those accounts, but all the people on the team inside that business can't go out and sell anymore, because now they're producing inventory and delivering boxes and doing all the things they need to do to service those accounts. And so then they are in this conundrum: how do I grow my business? How do I get more product placement? How do I, control my raw materials so I always know what my manufacturing capacity is and what my schedule is? Those are all the things that I see. And so from that, I deduce that, most companies can only do two things. They can only acquire or they can service. And for you guys that are selling products into stores, if that hits a light bulb for you, identify and own it first. Because if you're a service-oriented company and that's what you're able to do right now, you're thinking about sales, but sales scare you because you got to hire people or you got to do it, own the service. And then find you somebody who you can trust to go out and rep your product and forget about it. Because the best thing that you can do in that arena is brand your product and market it and be the service person to that dispensary every day. Because they're going to ask questions, they're going to want testing, they're going to want you to come pick things up, or they're going to want to pop up, or they're going to want something from you to be able to tie that good in. You need to focus on that and then find you somebody who can rep your product that can do it with the same kind of passion that you do. So identify your salespeople, work ethic, charisma. The metric by which you hold them accountable is touch points. That's it. If you can create those two metrics, then you're just judging them, right? If you can have a process by which you can see the metrics and see the touch points, now you can hold them accountable, have your turnover go, and then the process just works. My goal, because I was in the field and I understood the workload that it took, was to make my rep's job as easy as possible. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted them to be confident when they went into an appointment. I wanted them to feel encouraged and empowered, that they were repping the best brand possible, and we've done that. We do it on a consistent basis. We grow 1,000 pounds, we sell 1,000 pounds. 10,000 or so units of concentrates, 15,000 units of pins. We sell cosmic gummies, we sell Stargazer. I mean, we do a lot of it just with my team of people. And from me to you, I think it's really simple. Work ethic, charisma, get them in the right seats on the bus, make sure that they are the right person for your team, they bring the right passion, and they have the work ethic, because humans want the path of least resistance. That's what we're hardwired to want and to find people that are hardworking enough to wake up with passion every day, to rep your product, to go out and to build relationships in the community with stores. That's hard to find, especially from my side. I've seen it. I'm trying to hire the best always. And so, work ethic, charisma, and touch points. That's where we leave it. We got some questions.
Yeah, I have some questions that we kind of talked about ahead of time. You were talking about these touch points. Can you give us an example of some of these touch points? And you also said that they were visual, right? So do you have some type of system, like a CRM?
Yeah, so we use Salesforce. I wouldn't recommend it. It's too expensive. It's too clunky. HubSpot is the one that I would recommend if you're looking for one. One, it allows you to do your email marketing through it and see your leads that way. And you can really get into some really good email marketing strategies with good tools. And Salesforce is just such a clunky tool that I wouldn't use it that way. We've just had to figure out a workaround around it. So that's that. Get you a CRM, track. If you're at a point where you can have somebody who's updating that CRM, and it not be anybody who may or may not be medicating throughout the day or something like that, that is what I would do. I would put that person there and make sure that they are understanding that anytime a rep leaves an account, or I leave an account, I'm calling them and I'm letting them know what's happening, and then they're putting that data in there because, again, sales reps come and go. I want to own the information as to what's happening into that account when they go. And you've got to create processes so when, freaking summer hits and your yields are lower and cash flow's tight and you got to do a shrink, when you come out of that and things are looking better, you can go back into that account file and see where you left off in the conversation and then just continue that journey. So CRM system's huge. If you don't have one, get one. It's an imperative.
Yeah. So when you're building your sales team, was there like a certain company or a certain, I don't know, maybe something that you were trying to mold that after?
Man, yeah, absolutely. So I went after the sales strategies for people who sell software as a service, because it's a daily call, it's a pipeline driven sale, and then I came from software sales. So in the software as a service model, you have a sales development rep whose whole job is to set appointments and follow up on leads. And win back old business, and then you have your account executives who turn over the appointments, do the product demos, do all those kind of things, and I just adopted that sales process over to this, and it works very nicely. Yeah.
How do you see the cannabis industry changing in the next 2 years, especially when it comes to sales?
So yeah, that's what we're speaking about. I think service, at Red Bird we talk about quality, value, and service all the time. I think service is going to win because your stores who are doing well. Let me back all the way up on that question so I can build some context. If you can help your stores make money, that's the first thing. The second thing is servicing those stores throughout the customer process. So if you can build that relationship with that store, continue to service them on a consistent level and basis all the time, and bring them quality product, what happens is when the market fluctuates and you have Croptober or you have something that happens like it did last year, you're able to withstand that because you've built that entrenched relationship with your store, and they know that you have their back at any time. When somebody new has some new product coming in, obviously price wins and those types of things, but what we've seen in my position is we have very, very strong partnerships with our retail, partners, and we're at a point where we can ride that price and always make them money, and so they'd much rather come this way than try something new. For sure, and we've seen that over the course of my time with Red Bird. It wasn't overnight. We've had to build that, and I think we're at that point where that's where you've got to serve your customers, because these guys, think about it. Let's break it all the way down. So you got mom and dad, brother, sister, husband, wife, whoever it is starting these stores, and they're putting all of their money into it. They're thinking about their margins all the time. They're thinking about cash flow. They're thinking about loss, product loss and stealing. They're thinking about labor costs with bud tenders. They're thinking about bud tenders being mad at each other, to starting drama in the back. All these different things that they got, right? Am I lying?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so I've seen it all. So you've got all those things happening, and when you come in as a vendor, if your attitude is this shit slaps, this will burn your face, whatever, right? If that's your attitude, that's only sustainable to a point. That's only sustainable for so long. What we have to do is treat these people like professional business owners and help them understand how we can help their business. And then when things change or the economy changes, or they know that we have their back. It's like brake sales to a tire, a car manufacturer. There might be 100 other brake companies coming in, but that manufacturer is going to go with that person that they trust. And we've just built that, and I think over the next 2 years, it's going to be imperative, especially with the shrinkage and the consolidation in the stores. You've got a bunch of big chains buying other little stores. You've got little stores growing into mid-sized stores because they found the right vendor partnerships. All of that's going to happen, and then people who are just doing bad business or doing things the wrong way, they'll fall off in the slush. But at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of like I think somebody and I were talking about it, and they said somebody's store somewhere and they knew the same person I knew, I'm like, yeah, that's it. Like, that's what's going to happen. We're all going to know the same people. The industry's going to shrink, and you're going to be, you know, there based on your reputation, you know?
One of my questions is, on your inside and your outside sales, do you commission them on the same?
That's a good question. No, I don't. So my outside sales gets, on processed goods, they get a percentage of the product. On flour, they get $1, like $1 amount per pound. And then my inside sales reps gets bonused on qualified leads over a certain dollar amount. So what I do with her is 1 to 24 calls is $20 a call. 25 to 49 is $30 a call, and then she gets $10 a call extra for the previous 24. And then it scales up to where she can get $50 a call once she crosses over, I think over 100 qualified deals in a month, and that all goes retro back. So she can end up making an extra $5,000 a month if she's calling all her people. Yeah, it's very advantageous for her. I mean, you know, people, and one thing about it too is this generation, I'm 35, you know, I consider myself an old soul. There's this generation 10 years younger than me that just doesn't seem very money motivated. Like, I pay people well if they go out and do it. So, you know, you've got to be able to maintain that and find that work ethic and that, and make, cause like, shit, I could probably, I mean, there's, all you look at, I said $5,000 a month for making calls, and like, right? Like, yeah, give me that, right? So, yeah, like, I'm there. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I do it for her. And then I bonus my CSRs on successful deliveries. Yeah, we got it, because, you know, once you scale to a point, you're probably going to be using some sort of transportation company. There's got to be communication from your side to the transportation company to ensure that the transportation company is taking care of your client. And so we saw, I don't know, about 3 or 4 months ago, there was a dip in like deliverability, like successful deliveries, and it was just because tactical was growing, right? And they got people in there that are, you know, their workload is increasing, and then we have to take some of that account management on, like pre-day calls, making sure that the deliveries and that the owner is going to be there with the money, those types of things. And so successful deliveries on your CSR piece.
Well, when you go into your dispensaries, and I mean, I feel like price is a race to the bottom, right? You're just undercutting, everybody starts undercutting. That happened in Colorado, perfect example of it, right? It seems like in Colorado, the top shelf never went down.
Right.
Top shelf did not. That's what I bought. Believe me,
That's right.
That's
right.
But I'm just thinking, like, you know, innovation. What are the other big sales that when you're saying I want to help them make their business?
Oh yeah.
Point of sale.
I mean, I'll give you the real sauce from a flower standpoint. Man, so, man, and you, like, I know there's brokers in here too, so like, don't beat me up in my area with this, okay? All right, so from a flower perspective, you got tiers of flower in your store as a dispensary. You've got, let's say there's 3. You've got top, mid, and bottom. Let's say that those prices are, you know, metro prices, so 12, 10, and 8, okay? As a grower, what's happened in this market, man, I can't believe I'm about to say this. This is all raw. This is exactly how I feel. In this market, I'm not degrading anybody's quality of flower. I think that there's tremendous flower out there. I don't certainly grow the best. I grow the most consistent in quality always, okay? All right? So I'm going to be there week after week after week after week. That's one thing. But there's $2,600 pounds floating around, things like that, and I think that that is a testament to the grower wanting the value out of the pound versus wanting the patient to have the best medicine, okay? So in our mind, we go at it and we think about it with the patient in mind always. So if you think about the Oklahoma market, you think about, and this comes from my casino side. I ran casino marketing. I was a marketing director at a casino for my tribe's casino in Shawnee. I used to have to do demographic analysis on people and see gaming data all the time. It's the same data as it is in the patient industry, the cannabis industry here with the patients. You got 80% of your patients that are fixed income. right? Medicare, Medicaid, you know, they're walking into a dispensary with $40, $220s at best, all right? So if you're selling $2,600 pounds into the store, they gotta sell a gram for $14, $15 to make their piece. Now you've priced yourself out of that customer, and now you've only segmented yourself for somebody who's got more than $40 in their pocket. I don't do that. Our flower is priced at such a way that we can meet you at 8, we can meet you at 10, and it's a really good deal, but those $12 people, they love our flower, and it's top. But we'll never miss an $8 patient, ever. You see what I mean? And you've got to be able to understand that in that. Now, the race to the bottom, that is a whole nother issue for a quality of good thing. Stores, when they realize what's quality and their patients are telling them and giving them feedback and they're in tune and in step with their patients, they understand that. Like, I come in there and I've got a $5 vape cart, good luck. Good luck. Whatever, do it. Make your money, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't smoke it. And that's just me. That's my and I'm a high value patient. So like, I'm not smoking that. There's a level of quality that you have that I think store owners respect. And this, I'm speaking for me. I've only sold for Red Bird. I've never sold anything else. I might be up here speaking things that are just super Japanese, but I know what works for us, and it's always going in with quality and then making it make sense math-wise to the stores, right? So if I'm telling you about tiers, they've got a keystone anything that you sell them, right? So if they're trying to meet their keystone and you're selling them a 350 gram, they got to sell that gram for $7. It's just like that. It's just like that with your vapes. It's just like that with your edibles. It's just like that with everything else. And, you know, the people who are going in trying to get placements, it might happen. They might sell 3,000 units to your favorite store with an orange on it or whatever, and, you know, get the inventory gone, but it's not sustainable. That's a 2 to 3 year question. Like, it's not going to be like that. And the companies that understand that and can withstand that and price and take the dip with it, you know, just wait it out. Because, I mean, you guys, store owners, right? You understand what I'm saying. Quality matters, and your patience. I mean, let's break it all the way down. It goes down to repeat trips. That's it. So if you got patients who are spending $40 every 3 days and they're going somewhere 3 days a week, you want to steal that trip. And the way you steal that trip is them having a poor experience at another store. That's it. That's it. Like, you're going to have the same stuff. You're going to have all the same flour, all this stuff, and they're going to go in and they're going to have a poor experience, and then their $40 a day trip is now going to go and that incremental revenue alone is going to be so much more valuable than anybody thinks. You just got to keep pushing that and going after it, but making it make sense, you know, making it make math sense to the customer, understanding their tiers, understanding where your product fits in their tiers, understanding where you need to be so you can fit in that tier of product, and then educating your store on how to tier out that SKU. If you've got a significant, like a whole nother SKU line, mushrooms and chocolate, you know, whatever it is, right? Then you're creating a whole nother wall space for yourself. If you're going in there and you're competing against other SKUs on the wall, now you've got to figure out what they're paying for those up there, what makes yours different, whether it's package appeal or bag appeal or whatever that is, and then communicate that to the store and let them know, like, I go in we've got 600 accounts, I see this brand in X amount of accounts, we always knock them off, patients, or, you know, whatever your pitch is, you're going in there with it and you do it, but you got to know all those things. You got to know your competition. You got to know all those things. But just the tiers, man. If you could simplify it, know the tiers of the products that you're selling, and then make it make math sense, you'll be in the win every time. Every time. You'll never miss a close, ever. It's a good question. I get passionate about that. That's what I teach my team. Sell it based on the price that makes sense for the customer, not, you know, I mean, shoot, we got to the point where, I mean, we got 15% flavor crystal A-bud flour that we can't even keep it. We don't even show testing. Like, they ask for it, we have it, but we don't even show tests anymore. We just send it. Every time, you know?
Any other questions?
Yeah, what about your people that generate the leads? Do they just make calls? Do they get anything off lead or anything like that?
So we have our own site that we house all of our things through, we get, so our social media marketing, right, engagements with our posts and things like that. We're constantly filtering those. Any messages into our social media she gets, our corporate email campaigns, and then we send out personalized emails based for our reps. They don't send them, we send them, and we track opens. Here's the email strategy. Send out an email to 800, 850 people. Let's say you get a 20% open rate, so now you're looking at 160 opens. All of those are calls that you make. I wouldn't even care what kind of engagement they had in my email. All I care is that they opened it, because there's some sort of mental recognition with my brand, them opening the email, and then me calling just to set an appointment. So that's the email strategy. Anybody that clicks on any kind of hyperlink, they get a call immediately. Right, so we'll have it at the end of it, like let's say we send 2 emails a week, Sunday, Thursday, right? Sundays opens, let's say over the course of that 24 hours, there's, like I said, 160 people open. Now my inside sales rep has got 160 calls to make for the week. Her deck is loaded from 1 email, right? On top of all the other stuff that we would be doing, you know, follow-ups and things we set in the CRM. So it's just a constant cycle of that. And then, but I mean, we can only sell to 2,200 folks. So it's, you know, once you've made those calls, you made those rounds, it's imperative to have a follow-up process, for sure.
Just get people open up email or return. It's just, you know.
Open email strategy is a subject line deal. So what you do is you put in your subject line something like, you know, grade A flower available tomorrow. Or, you know, 710 concentrate sale. You know, something that is very quick. I've gotten so swaggy with it, I don't even capitalize anything in my headline anymore because it feels more personal. Meet next week, no capital, question mark. People think it's like coming straight from me. Yeah, does that answer your question?
We're trying to figure out that's why this week we made up some flyers and emails that made flyers just bring in dropping off. I mean, if that's laying around the desk for a couple of days, we'll get looked at more than an email.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going a little bit deeper into something else, which is your strategies and tactics of outreach, which you've got to categorize those. So cold outreach, which is cold stops and cold calls, email outreach, social media outreach, text outreach, corporate outreach, which for us is big because we have 2 different reaches. So that I had 5. There's a 6th tactic in there, but our tactical transportation vans, because we transport for other people, right? So we have like Smokies and Cosmic and Elevated and all these different brands or whatever, and so they're going to stores, and then so because we own tactical, you know, and people that we process partners with, I'm throwing sample packs on there, and we're sending those out to all the stores around, trying to just build leads that way. But scrap that one. Develop 5 buckets of tactics, and then again, measure your touch points against that.
Just share a testimonial from somebody that's benefited from your work.
Yeah. So we had. It's kind of funny because we hit it kind of in a roundabout way. We had a strain that just wouldn't develop a really good nose on it, and like we cured it a bunch of different ways, and just the nose wasn't competing with everything we had. So we were all really down on this strain. We really didn't, you know, all the salespeople were like, man, cut it, kill the mother, like don't ever send it again. I get a call from, I'll tell you the store, let me think about it. Local Leaf in Tecumseh. And we sold him the strain, like we sold him a pound super cheap because we couldn't move it. Again, no nose. And he had this patient come in, 26, 27-year-old lady, no kids, but she had like terrible IBS. Couldn't find anything in the cannabis space that would help her. And the strain was called No Quarter. We got it from however we got it, and we should have just returned it, in my opinion, at that point. But no, we had it. We sold it to Local Leaf, and she had terrible IBS. And I remember she sent an email. I was a rep at the time, and she got my email from Local Leaf, sent me the email, and was basically I could read her crying about the relief that she was able to get from this strain that every, like 110 people in the company was out on, like just out, didn't want her to cut it. And I think that changed a lot of people's perception inside the company too, because we were kind of going in that realm of like, you know, not medicine, right? We were making a bunch of money and selling a bunch of things. And I remember we had this strain and leadership's coming to me, why can't we move these pounds? Why can't we move these pounds? And then we got that email and it was like, you know, it centers you a little bit, right? And it's like, that's why we grew that. And that's why it just happens to be in our arsenal. And that's why we are here for that. And that's what we do, you know, is make sure that the patients are taken care of. They can afford our medicine always, and you know, we never miss them. You know, and at that point, I mean, you're talking about having a cheap eighth that she came in, and it was just, you know, it was a $20 eighth, and it was great looking flower, purple, it's frosty, just had no nose, and she got a great medicine for the value. That's awesome. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.